Are you able to set smarter goals? Do you need goal setting tips? Do you know how to set goals and actually achieve them? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to give you my best goal setting ideas and my best goal setting tips to get you on your way to setting smarter goals and doing smarter goal setting. This is a goal setting series, and today we're continuing on with part 2. So let's get to it. So hey there and welcome back. I'm Alicia from Alicia Cohen Designs, where I teach you intentional planning and productivity solutions. If you're new around here, would you please do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button? It means a lot to me, helps support my channel, and it's just really nice to know that I have supporters out there. So please give that subscribe button a tap, and now let's get on to our topic. Okay, time for part 2 of this 4-part series about goal setting, and not just goal setting, but how to set goals and actually achieve them. As I mentioned in part 1, we want to take a look at setting smarter goals, and I'm not talking about SMART goals here, though we will talk about SMART goals later in this series, but we want to take a look at setting smarter goals to be able to be as effective as possible to get the most mileage out of our effort. I believe that the best way to achieve goals and be smart about this process is through a number of key strategies. I have 8 for you, but that is way too many to cover for this video. We tackled 2 of these strategies back in part 1 of this video series, and today we're going to tackle 2 more of these strategies. If you didn't check out part 1, I'll link it over there for you in the cards. Check it out because I'm going to just briefly touch on what we covered in part 1, and this video will make more sense if you have the full story. We'll follow the same format as part 1, but with some new information today. So, as in part 1, here's the plan for today's video. We'll talk briefly about why set goals. Then we'll go over the basic types of goal setting, the essential step 0 to really help goal setting work, and then we'll tackle 2 of my recommended best goal setting strategies. So more on why set goals. You may be new to goals or you may be a goal setting veteran, and either way, I have a couple of quotes for us today to instruct and inspire us in the importance of goal setting. Let's take a look. Our first quote today is from Brian Tracy, the author of the popular book, Eat That Frog. He says, "A clear vision, backed by definite plans, gives you a tremendous feeling of confidence and personal power." I like this quote for why we should set goals because it highlights not just setting goals to be productive or accomplish things, but to set goals because of what it does for us as people, the benefits it gives us personally. Okay. One more encouraging quote to solidify our why. "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." And that was said by Abraham Lincoln. I like this quote for why we should set goals because the intentional planning and setting of the goal, like the sharpening of the axe, is going to make the accomplishing of the goal, like the cutting down of the tree, even easier. Okay. Those are our quotes to support our why for goal setting today. So now let's do a quick recap of the basic goal setting types. So our 4 basic types of goals are 1, New Year's resolutions, 2, focus words, 3, time frame goals, and 4, habit goals. Let's briefly go through these again, and I'll remind you if each one is an Alicia approved goal type or not. Okay, New Year's resolutions. This one is not Alicia approved. Again, refer to part 1 of this series for the full explanation of the basic goal setting types. It's linked in the description below. The short answer here, though, is that I don't like New Year's resolutions in the way they're traditionally done because they seem more like wishful thinking than actual goal setting. Typically, New Year's resolutions lack a solid strategic plan. I just don't think a year-long resolution is the best way to tackle a goal that you seriously want to accomplish. As I said in part 1, if you're the kind of person who sets a New Year's resolution and you achieve what you set out to do, then go you and keep doing what works. But generally in our culture, New Year's resolutions are well-intentioned but not highly successful. All right, now let's recap focus words. Picking a focus word is something that some people do at the beginning of a new year. It's a word that's picked to focus a person on what he or she wants to be about in the next year. Maybe it's a word for encouragement, inspiration, motivation, whatever it is that the person feels he or she needs. As I said before, I think focus words sound so lovely on paper. However, there are some things I don't like about them. First is that when I hear people talk about focus words, I don't also hear people talk about concrete steps for bringing that focus word to life in their lives. Another thing I don't like about focus words is that it's set for a whole year. That's a really long time and a lot can change. I just don't think this is the best way to approach goal setting, especially without a specific action plan. So, focus words are not Alicia approved, but I know a lot of people enjoy them, and if they work for you, please keep using them. They're just not something that I will specifically be teaching about. All right, we will continue with our topic in just a moment, but before we get back to it, if you haven't already, would you please hit that subscribe button? As I like to say, subscribing is kind of like the gasoline for my channel. It keeps things running around here, so please help keep this puppy running and subscribe. Okay, back to it. So our next goal setting type, time frame goals. These are goals that we set with the intention of completing them within a certain amount of time, maybe within a quarter or a month or a certain number of weeks. I think time frame goals work well when implemented well. And as you can probably guess, time frame goals are an Alicia approved goal setting type. And our last goal setting type, habit goals. As I've said previously, habit goals are interesting, and I say that because they are something we seek to accomplish without a clear-cut end, which is because it's a habit and something that we want to incorporate ongoingly in our lives. So habit goals are complete really when the habit has become second nature, as in you do the habit routinely without thinking much about it on autopilot. Habit goals are also an Alicia-approved type of goal setting. Okay, to briefly touch on step 0. Again, this was covered more in detail in part 1, but in short, step 0 is the essential prerequisite step in all of this goal setting, planning, and such. Without it, we'll just keep staying stuck or overwhelmed or frustrated or whatnot. So this essential step 0 is getting crystal clear on our current personal life season. I created a 2-hour on-demand workshop to walk you through getting this season clarity. It's called the Sync Your Season Workshop. I've linked it for you in the description below to go check out. But again, in my own journey of what works when it comes to goal setting, planning, productivity, etc., the way to be effective and to ditch things like overwhelm is to first get really clear on our season. Okay, so now that we've recapped goal setting types and briefly talked about step 0, let's take a look at the next 2 of my 8 best goal setting strategies that I have for you in this video today. Take the pressure off. And specifically what I'm referring to here is the pressure of what the time frame looks like for when a goal is completed. You can start a goal anytime. It doesn't have to be January 1st or the 1st of the month or even on Monday. It could be, but Thursday is a great time to start a goal. Why not? So let's throw out that when we start our goals has to look a certain way. Anytime is a good time, especially when you're keeping in mind the important step 0. So we have start anytime, and we also have reevaluate anytime. I like to say goals are best approached with the mindset of flexibly firm. And yes, that's intentionally contradictory because I think the contradiction is instructive. Be firm in your resolve to achieve your goals, but also flexible in your ability to reevaluate any time. Maybe as your life changed over time, you realize that the goal you set originally doesn't matter much to you anymore. That's fine. Tweak it or rewrite it completely or just get rid of it. It's okay and normal and natural for things to shift and change over time. Let your goals follow this shifting too. Keep an eye on your goals so that they're really realistic for you and also really meaningful to you. There's nothing in goal setting that says that you have to set a goal once and stick to it no matter what, even if you no longer want that goal. Don't get stuck in doing it right. In fact, do it right. And there is no right, but do it right by letting your goals adapt with your life and not getting rigidly stuck in holding on to a goal for the sake of holding on to a goal. I'll give you an example from my own life. Photo albums. Oh, photo albums. I have a lot of photo albums. Before digital photos were a thing, yes, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I took lots and lots of photos on film. Yes, film. Anyone else? Well, I love to take these photos and memories and carefully catalog them and store them and insert them all nicely into photo albums. And now I have bunches and bunches of photo albums that I don't really want taking up physical space anymore, but I don't want to just throw them out. So I decided that I would like to digitize my photo albums. Now, digital storage and digital clutter, these are a whole different topic, which we are not going to tackle today, but suffice it to say that I'd like to trade my physical storage of my photo albums for digital storage. So last year, I set a goal to digitize all of my photo albums, either manually myself or through a service. I started working on this goal a bit myself, and I also looked into services, and where I ended up with being flexibly firm and operating from my step 0 is that I still want to complete this goal at some point, but this year wasn't the time for it to be completed. Is that a failure? No way. Is this a success? For sure. I mean, I didn't complete the goal, but I operated from within my step 0. I honored my sanity, and I was realistic about my time. These are all wins. Would I like to achieve this goal? Yes. But would I like to focus on what matters and have more peace and well-being in my life? Bigger yes. So the goal matters, but the context around the goal matters more, in my opinion. And so that's why it's helpful to not be rigid about our goals and to be able to reevaluate our goals if we're really going to be living intentionally and focused on what matters most to us. Our second strategy for today, have a very clear why. Now, the point of this strategy isn't to ask yourself why in order to tell yourself that your goal is bad or anything like that. I mean, maybe in completing this strategy, you may weed out a few goals that you come to realize aren't really where you want to be placing your focus. But the real intention of this strategy is to get us deeply connected to our goals, which will also get us much more deeply committed to our goals. Try this exercise. Let's say you have a goal to become healthier, and the way you've decided to do this is by eating more fresh fruits and vegetables. So, why do you want to be healthier? Maybe to feel stronger in your body. Why do you want to feel stronger in your body? Maybe to be able to have the strength and energy to better make it through your day. Why do you want to have this strength and energy to better make it through your day? Maybe you want to be able to play with your kids. Why do you want to be able to play with your kids? Maybe to be able to form close relationships with them. Why do you want to have close relationships with your kids? Maybe this reason is deep enough for you, or maybe it goes even deeper than this, but do you see now how you wanting to be healthier is really about wanting to have close relationships with your kids, at least in this example? And by knowing this deep why, it will help you or, help us when the going gets tough with pursuing our goal. So ask yourself why at least 3 times, but more like 4 or 5 or even more times is even better to get that deep connection and that deep commitment going for your goal. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Now, before we go, I just wanted to tell you again that the link for my Sync Your Season workshop is in the description below. Again, that's the step 0 to really being able to take your goal setting or your planning, your peace, or just your life generally to the next level. Go check it out and see what you think. As always, thanks so much for spending this time with me. That wraps up part 2 for today, but be on the lookout for part 3 coming your way very soon. And my parting encouragement, as always, if you're feeling overwhelmed today, remember that when it comes to planning and productivity, being intentional, plus not giving up, means that you are going to get there. Catch you next time. Take good care.